Kimimaro was the sole survivor of the Kaguya clan. Upon dedicating his life to Orochimaru, he became the leader of the formerly named Sound Five. So he fell ill, terminally, which kind of fucked him over, forced him to leave the group and kind of become bedridden. But we're gonna be talking about him without the illness. So I was thinking about that. If we're doing him without the illness, should we just do Edo or?
Um, I don't think we should do Edo because as we've seen in the past, Edo can kind of enhance a shinobi, especially when Kabuto's the one doing Edo. Think about this: Kabuto didn't even use Edo to revive the Hokages, and yet the third Hokage, at the age he was when he fought Orochimaru as an Edo Tensei, was on par with the Ten Tails Jinchuriki. Now, keep in mind when Orochimaru fought Sarutobi as he was alive during the destruction of the Hidden Leaf arc, Orochimaru had said if Sarutobi was 10 years younger, he would have killed him. But because he was the same age he was when he was revived, that means he shouldn't have had any business being anywhere near as powerful as fucking Naruto, let alone Hashirama, let alone Jubito, let alone Judara. Like, come on.
All right. So that
So
that I guess that I
Edo can
guess
definitely like enhance a shinobi for sure.
100%. So in that case, we'll just be doing the hypothetical if he's not terminally ill. So going off what you
Yeah.
just said, I want to start off with adding. Actually, everything I have is on my phone, so I'll just add it into it on my phone. So if you look on the Discord, there is like a debates text channel, and that's where I'm gonna be like putting the scans and shit.
I'm on it right now so that I can keep an eye on it.
Bet. All right. So first point that I want to make here is based off what you just said about Hiruzen and everything. And did you know that it was stated by both Orochimaru and Kabuto when they were talking, had Kimimaro been there, the procedure would have gone over very smoothly. Pretty much entailing that you gotta at least say he's low Kage level off of that statement.
I disagree with that simply because at the time when I would say he's tail beast level because like one tail level because Guren was not Kage level at all by any means, and she was stated to be able to go toe to toe with the three tails for extensive periods of time, meaning that she was definitely S class, potentially on par with Deidara and Sasuke at the time, but definitely not Kage level.
So Kimimaro, I would say, is definitely Kage level, as he also assisted Orochimaru in taking down the fourth Kazekage, and he also fought against Agara, who was stronger than he was when he fought against Naruto, and I mean that Gara is definitely Kage level, and had he not been sick, he wins that fight.
I don't think he would have won
He
that
was
fight,
about to
but he
stab
definitely
Gara
could
in
have.
the eye, with
Yeah, no,
Gara
like
having no way to react to it.
yeah, he definitely had like the upper hand. I feel like if you know what, yeah, you're right. I
What's
don't know
up,
about
Dub?
Kage level though. I feel like he was not far off it, but definitely not at it. You know what I mean? Like he was certainly an S class ninja. I mean, don't get me wrong, but like people who are revered as Kage level have always been like end of series Sakura or Shippuden Itachi or Kisame. Like we never. I know I don't believe that the Sound Five were anywhere near Kage level because they got beat by a bunch of Genin
I
who weren't
don't
even as strong as Naruto.
I don't believe that the Sound Five were, but I do believe Kimimaru was. The
Well, I
sound the
Sound
Sound
Five
Four, I mean.
because he was part of them.
Well, I mean the Sound Four. I didn't mean to say the Sound Five. So the Sound Four. I mean they're kind of fodder, and I mean it shows when Kimimaru goes and snags Sasuke before what's his name Naruto and Shikamaru could even react. I mean he goes over to Yuya, however the fuck you say her name, and
Yeah.
all right, and literally like you can tell she's just scared shitless.
Well,
Like
yeah, he was colossal in terms of her. She physically wasn't very strong. Her power all relied on genjutsu.
oh, I agree with that.
Genjutsu Shinobi like her and Kurenai, they're not strong ninja. Like if Kakashi went rogue and Kurenai was tasked with taking him down and he got the drop on her, you think she wouldn't be scared shitless?
I think she would be scared, but put on a mask in terms of she doesn't want to show fear to an enemy. Whereas with Kimimaro, she already knows how strong he is and what he's capable of due to years of being by his side. Not in that type of way, but you know what I mean.
Well, yeah, but that's the same point I just made about Kurenai and Kakashi. Kurenai knows Kakashi inside and out. She knows what he's capable of.
I thought you were talking about if like to you like
No, I just put like a hypothetical out there. Like if Kakashi went rogue and Kurenai was tasked with finding him, and he got the drop on Kurenai, she'd be just as
all right,
scared
yeah,
shit.
I get what you mean. I thought you were talking about Tsuyu in that in that hypothetical. My bad, I misheard
Oh
you.
no, yeah, you got it now.
All right, yeah, I agree. She would be scared shitless.
But see, Sakon, he was not as scared. Like he has a more. No, was it Sakon? Was Sakon still there? Yeah, no. Sakon had veered off. No, yeah, this was before Sakon veered off with Kiba, wasn't it? Didn't Kimimaro show up before Sakon
see,
veered off? Wasn't Sakon still there with Tayuya?
nah, I don't think so because
I
I watched the scene earlier. So so Guren is the girl with the crystal jutsu that was in the anime. But what was I saying again?
You were telling me why I was wrong about Sakon being there because I made a mistake and thought he was.
Oh, all right. So, yeah, so I watched the clip earlier actually, and when Kimimaro shows up and grabs Sasuke, after he dips, Shikamaru and Naruto had to like come up with a plan to get Naruto around to Yuya. So
Yeah, Sakon and Kiba were already in the throes of it.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, so I believe Kimimaro wasn't far off Kage level. I just don't think he was there yet. I don't think Gara was there yet either.
I mean,
Don't get me wrong.
When Naruto and Gaara fought in the Chunin exam, Sasuke's literally looking at it like mesmerized about the level of a fight that it is, and stated that it was a Kage level fight.
Fighting a summoning toad, like that kind of thing he'd never seen before. Even Itachi couldn't, like Itachi's mere presence and the fear that it instills in Sasuke couldn't compare to that mesmerization. He's seeing these two things that are as tall as freaking buildings duking it out right in front of him. Anybody would be like, whoa. Like
I mean, but if that fight happens like in the actual village, I mean the village gets completely wrecked. I mean, I would say that's a Kage level fight.
I would disagree because think about it. Like say
Bro, the forest got destroyed that they fought in.
yeah, but that's like saying that Naruto's Kage level just because he could summon Gamabunta with the Nine Tails Chakra. Think about it. He needed the Nine Tails Chakra at that time to summon Gamabunta. He couldn't do it any other way. In fact, even in Shippuden, when he was still studying Wind Style, he could barely summon Gamakichi without fucking up.
Yeah, but I mean the fact of the matter is that that fight was 100% Kage level. I mean, Agara. So when Gara fights Kimimaro, for example, that's
When you talk about Kage level, are you talking about chakra like capacity? Or are
I'm
you talking
talking about
about
overall
strength?
power, overall strength and power.
See, it's hard to place a Jinchuriki that's going into a full tail beast state into that category then because it's mostly the tail beast power. It's not even the Jinchuriki. Like that wasn't even Gara's power at all at that point. Gara was asleep. He was unconscious using playing possum jutsu. So he had no control over that whatsoever. That was all Shukaku.
I mean, yeah, but that's really butted in. Shikaku is in Gara. He's the Jinchuriki. I mean,
Yeah, but Shukaku was borderline out of Gara at the time. Keep in mind, this is before Kishi came up with the whole the Jinchuriki loses the tail beast they die thing. This is before he came up with that. So
I mean, yeah, but at the end of the day, no Gara, no Shikaku to begin with. Shikaku, my bad.
I think yeah, I agree that like Shukaku is like absolutely the highest you can get without being Kage level just because he's the one tail.
But I mean, that along with the jutsu and shit that Gara was capable of, I mean, Gara was definitely a beast in part one,
Yeah,
especially at the
absolutely. He's a
end.
total beast. Um,
I mean, dude went toe to toe against the fifth gate.
See, I don't know about toe to toe. He was getting his ass beat, and it wasn't until the gate's effects started to wear off that he was even able to catch up and do any damage to Lee.
But at the end of the day, he put Lee in the hospital to never
Yeah,
be a
yeah, he
ninja
survived.
again, and he walked away and was fine the next day.
He survived the fifth gate because of his sand armor, yeah, but he wasn't going toe to toe with it. He was not at that level yet. Especially since his taijutsu skill is almost zero. Like, there have been so many fillers with Gara and Shino learning taijutsu because their taijutsu skill is absolute dog shit.
Alright, so what I'm pretty much implying here is that since we see Gara catch Lee when he's in his gates and everything, and with the sand, it can at least be implied that Gara's sand is fifth gate level in terms of speed.
I think, yeah, I think he can react. I think his sand can react at Kage level speeds.
So Kimimaro, who was fighting that, was able to dodge it a few times, but the three times where he did get caught, two of them being sand coffins and one of them being in between the two sand coffins with a sand tsunami into like a sand burial, he survived
Yeah,
all three. He
or whatever.
literally completely, anyone else completely gets crushed by that. His durability is freaking insane. And keep in mind, his
Well, no,
body was
he,
weakened because he was going off pure mental willpower in that fight to serve
yeah,
Orochimaru.
yes, but the reason he was able to survive that sand burial, that giant ass sand burial, was because he literally used his Kakegenkai to create a mass of bone just under the skin. And he's stated already that his bone is hard as steel when he uses his Kakegenkai. So he
Oh yeah.
literally had steel under his skin so that his actual skeleton couldn't get crushed. There was basically a layer of steel between his epidermis and his muscles.
Oh yeah.
So that wasn't necessarily his durability. That was
Well, I mean,
absolutely an entire jutsu.
well, he tanked it either way. Like that's he
Yeah, no,
also he
definitely
also
took it.
used his bones when Gate opened the when Gate opened the first Lee when Lee opened the first gate and went to kick him, his bones also like completely blocked the first gate kick. So I mean,
Was William gate mode at that point? I forget.
what do you
Yeah,
say?
I think he was. I think he was.
What do you say?
I said I couldn't remember if Guy was. Guy was. I said I couldn't remember if Lee was in first gate mode at that point, but then I remembered. I was like, yeah, he definitely was.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, like I said, I mean, but also you got to realize there was also the pattern in which those ribs came out. They kind of acted like a net. They kind of caught and slowed down the kick first. So on top of them being almost indestructible, they also were positioned in a way that the kick coming in couldn't come out. It was like a Venus flytrap.
Oh yeah, yeah, I agree with that, but I just think that the fact that he was able to take the kick, like one of the bones didn't like even have a crack in it, considering it was it was the first gate. That's the only thing I'm trying to say about that.
And not only that, but I mean, I'm kind of backing you up here when I say this part, which is kind of controversial in my point. But that one bone sword he used was able to not only block but tank like 40 kicks from Lee.
Yeah.
And he was drunk at the time, and we all know Lee's inhibitors go away when he's drunk.
Not to mention, before Lee showed up, he had literally destroyed hundreds of Nine Tails Amp Shadow clones from Naruto
Yeah, absolutely.
in a
Plus,
state where
soft
he
spot in the
shouldn't even
stomach
be
is still a soft spot
moving.
in the stomach.
What do you say?
A soft spot in the stomach is still a soft spot in the stomach, and most of those stabs that those clones took were in the stomach.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's hard to even with the Nine Tails, amping him. That area is pretty soft. It's not a very indestructible area.
Oh yeah, I'm not. I don't think that they were like some crazy level shadow clones by any means, but I was just putting the Nine Tails in there because the fact of the matter is that that slight Nine Tails amp is slightly stronger than just regular Naruto
Uh,
Shadow Clones. You know what I mean?
I yeah, I mean yeah, absolutely. Naruto with the Red Eyes Nine Tails mode is at a level where if Sasuke hadn't awakened the third Tomoe in his Sharingan, he would have absolutely ruined him.
Well, let's be honest. If Naruto, I mean, this is a completely different debate for another day. But if Naruto fighting Sasuke at the final rally with killer intent, does he win that?
Oh, absolutely. That's the thing about Naruto. Kishi has stated that Naruto has never gone full power because he's never had the intent to kill.
But that's a debate for another day.
That's for another time.
All right. So
um, I'm
I
gonna go off Guren a little bit here.
I was about to say, you want to get into Guren a little bit since we've spent like the last 15 minutes talking about Kimimaro.
Yeah. So she's a shinobi from the Sound Village, and she was a leader, one of Orochimaru's like squadron leaders. Basically, she possesses a unique Genkai of Crystal style. As a child, I'm reading this straight off because I didn't brief it before. I didn't brief her backstory before.
I literally did the
As a
same
child,
thing.
Guren came from a small village where she was shunned by others because she had the crystal style. Orochimaru appeared and destroyed that village. He was intrigued by her and took her under his wing. At some point, he sent her out to destroy another town in order to test her potential. However, after doing so, she passed out due to overusage of her powers. When she woke up, she found herself to have been healed by a woman who she would later discover to be Yukimaru's mother. And Yukimaru was kind of inconsequential to this, but Yukimaru was basically her entire like motivation during the arc that she was in
Yeah,
with Three Tails and shit. She was protecting him. I think Orochimaru wanted him for something, but she was protecting him, and Naruto and the gang were trying to save him from her because she was Orochimaru's guy, and whatever. But she has insane taijutsu capability to the point where she can single-handedly fight Sai, Kakashi, Naruto, and his shadow clones with taijutsu and ninjutsu at the same time and not fatigue herself.
can you show me her not being fatigued? This was I know what fight you're talking about. I just don't remember her not being fatigued.
I can't like put a picture up and show you, but like during that whole fight, she didn't pant until the end of it. And it was crazy because at one point she even got the drop on Kakashi to the point where she was able to put a crystal right in his back
I saw
and
that.
wound him.
Yeah, yeah.
And like if you go back and you watch the fight, like I literally watched that whole 7 minute fight to like prep myself for this. And then I did a little extra research just like a half an hour ago. She did not pant at all during that entire fight. The only time where she really looked like she was struggling was when she put up this crystal barrier that was tanking, and I mean tanking every single Rasengan Naruto and his clones threw at it. It took a combination effort of Shino's insects and Kakashi's lightning blade focused on a singular point to be able to take out that barrier. And the only reason, I mean, granted, the only reason she survived that was because Gozu got in the way and like sent her off into the distance to save her. But that barrier was so strong that it took the consistent chakra eating insects to whittle away at it just enough for Kakashi to be able to penetrate it with lightning blade. And keep in mind, crystal style is fundamentally earth style, just super refined, and is said to be stronger than wood style, and earth style is weak to lightning style. So the fact that Kakashi's lightning blade was only doing enough throughout that whole fight to kind of counter that crystal style just shows you how strong her crystal style is.
All right, that's fair. I can't really argue with that. I mean, that's just factual about her ability.
Um, so I mean, her durability is insane.
But my thing with her being very proficient in taijutsu is obviously we saw Lee, who was very proficient in taijutsu, along with the drunken
She's
fist.
definitely on guy level, dude.
But what we saw how in terms of taijutsu, purely that when you're close up fighting Kimimaro, his bones are just such a hassle to deal with.
Yeah, and Guren can do similar shit. She can literally turn any form of matter into crystal with her chakra. She was literally able to so precisely crystallized the air around Shino's insects at one point, that she crystallized each individual insect in an entire swarm that he spent like 5 minutes creating.
Now, I'm not saying she can't do similar things. I'm just saying that in terms of pure taijutsu, I mean, Kimimaru's gone against, I mean, the taijutsu wonder child, and pretty much at the end of it had to be saved by Gaara.
Okay, but think about this. Guren went up against Hinata, and Hinata's from the Hyuga clan. Their style of taijutsu is very fluid. It's not rigid like Lee's and Guy's.
I
It's
don't
fluid. It's easy to move around with, and she was able to not only take that, but she was able to best Hinata.
I don't think that Hinata was weak by any means at that point, but I don't think she was that strong at that point.
No, maybe not that physically strong, but her chakra control was there. She had the capability to use 32 palms, and her Hyuga style taijutsu is just that. It's Hyuga style taijutsu. It's so fluid. It's free form. Its movement is based entirely off a low center of gravity. So the fact that you keep your gravity center low and you just constantly keep moving your arms and your legs until the opponent's worn down, and then you bap them. And she was able to best that and trap Hinata.
Alright, hold on. Well, I'll get to that in a second. Shane just said in chat that Itachi beats Jigen.
Shane. Fake fan.
Nah, he's just an Itachi tard. I mean, it is what it is.
He's a fake fan.
Oh man, Shane, that's just.
I'm pouring out a glass of scotch because he just said that.
Yeah, we got to take a little break from the debate because of that.
we just gotta ridicule this kid for a minute.
Shane, I mean, I love you, my guy, but nah.
Do you hold on? Just because we're taking a small break from the main debate, do you think Itachi with 9 tails could beat Jigen?
Itachi with 9 tails?
Yeah. I'm not gonna say 10 tails because we all know Itachi with 10 tails could do literally everything. But
I mean, I don't know if my aunt had a dick, would she be my uncle? I mean,
what the fuck?
Like, this is hypothetical as fuck right now. I figured you were, Shane. Yeah, Shane doesn't even know who Jigen is. Yeah, I'm not surprised.
He doesn't know who Jigen is.
He
and
doesn't.
he's still
Yeah, I mean, him and Anna are just fucking around, but I think it's funny that. Yeah.
Oh man, I'm going to Produce Junction right now.
Shane, you gotta get caught up, my guy. But
Oh yeah. Even I'm caught up, and I don't even fucking watch it or read it. Like, and I know what's more or less going on.
I will say though, Hagoromo all hype. But anyway,
Yeah, Hagoromo I think could take Jigen. I mean, absolutely, yeah.
Jigen, yeah, I'm not saying he's gonna take Ishiki though.
Now, remind me, which one was Ishiki?
Ishiki is who was like, Jigen's the vessel for Ishiki. Kind of hard to describe,
I've
but
seen Ishiki before because I know we've seen Momo.
Ishiki pretty much is. I mean, that's who fought at the village Naruto, Sasuke, and Kawaki.
That was Momo.
Boruto. Well, wait, Momo. So Momoshiki is the Chunin exam arc in Boruto. That's where he pops up, and I also think Momoshiki beats Hagoromo, but that would be a harder fight.
Yeah, probably. But anyway, back to this.
Answer the phone. I'm streaming. I don't. Like, but yeah, let's get back to this. So, in terms of the taijutsu shit, I mean, I'm not denying that Guren's strong in it, but I think Kimimaro just has the edge because of like being able to pull the bones out of his body and shit and really defend himself up close.
Yeah, but she can make armor and weapons out of her crystal style. Like, we've seen her put a whole blade on her arm and like use that as essentially a kunai.
I know that. I'm not saying that she doesn't have abilities and shit. What I'm trying to say is I basically don't think that she'd be able to like match it.
Well, I don't know.
What I'm actually trying to say is I don't think she'd be able to touch him, like in terms of a taijutsu. If we're going purely off that, I don't think she'll be able to touch him.
So by that logic, do you think that Kakashi couldn't have touched him?
Um,
Do you honestly think that Kakashi would have lost to Kimimaro?
without illness,
Yeah.
are we going Kakashi based on the one who was against Guren, or are we going part one Kakashi?
We're
Because
going
either way, I think an argument can be made for both.
well, because here's the thing, Kakashi never really got much stronger. He just showed more and more of his power. Like, let's be honest. He
I
was always a
don't,
fucking
I
powerhouse that
don't
was just
think,
hiding his abilities since day one.
I don't think he really, in terms of got much stronger until later in the series, especially when the war comes and he really got his chakra control and stamina down. That's when I
Yeah,
feel like he really is. I mean, you see, he would use fucking Kamui once, or just use his Sharingan to see shit in a fight and be hospitalized for weeks, and then
yeah,
come the war arc. Oh Kamui, oh Kamui, oh Kamui, oh Kamui, oh
yeah,
Kamui. Like,
exactly. But my thing is that since he knows he wouldn't be able to copy Kimimaro's jutsu, he wouldn't bother wasting stamina using the Sharingan because he didn't do it against Guren. He didn't use the Sharingan against her at all because he knew he wouldn't be able to copy her jutsu or analyze her movements because of the Kekkei Genkai. So I think Kakashi could take Kimimaro, and Guren was able to take Kakashi, Naruto, and Sai at the same time.
I
And not to
mean,
mention, he didn't get hit once during that.
I don't know about Take as much as she withstood them. I feel like that fight drags on long enough. I mean,
Oh yeah, yeah. If it drug on long enough, absolutely. I mean, it's 4-on-1 with Sheena being there in the mix. But what I'm saying is, she was able to hold her own against three guys at the same time. One of which we know for a fact is Kage level. One of which we know for a fact is at least special Jonin level, that being Sai, and one of which we know has the ability to tap into a massive power source if he so chose to, that being Naruto. And he didn't even use a summoning jutsu there either. And not to mention, his shadow clones were underutilized in that fight. He did not use his clones at maximum capacity.
hey, all I'm saying is Himimaru with a terminally ill body that should not have been able to move at all of pure willpower took on Naruto's slightly nine tails and clones, followed by a drunken Lee, followed by freaking Gara, who at the time was still one tail Shinjiriki, and only
That's my
lost
point.
because of his illness.
That's
I
my
mean,
point.
he
He took
literally,
on he took on Lee, but he still received hits. He did receive hits. Guren
but
fighting against Naruto, Kakashi, and Sai, who all had the same taijutsu capacity, if not greater than that current Lee, did not take a single hit. She was evading hits left and right, including but not limited to an entire full scale assault of Naruto's clones with Rasengans, at least a couple dozen of them,
So,
effortlessly.
so what I'm saying though is, since we're talking about him without the illness, if he's doing that with the illness and moving his body off pure willpower, what happens if he has no illness and can actually control his body by controlling his freaking body?
That's
Does
that's kind of my where I'm getting at. I feel like without the illness, he's more on par with her, but not greater than.
wasn't
Tell me honestly, do
wait,
you
I
believe?
could be wrong here. I could be wrong here, but wasn't, because I know Girin was like jealous of Sasuke and shit, but I remember seeing something that she was also gonna be Orochimaru's vessel, and then Kimimaro came along, and that threw her to the side.
Yes, something like that happened. She was supposed to be one of his vessels, and then Kimimaro came into the picture. He pushed her aside, and then Sasuke came into the picture, and he pushed him aside.
I know that, but my point is, Orochimaru himself clearly sought out more in Kimimaro than he did Girin.
Yeah, yeah, but you got to realize because of his. I mean, yeah, we're talking about without the illness, but he didn't really get any weaker from his illness. Just he had to use his willpower to move his body. Physically, he was still very powerful.
I
Like
I
where,
think
to
it's
back to your point earlier, where he scared the shit out of Tayuya, even though he was sick. Like she knew she still couldn't take him.
that's my point. So with all of that, I mean, one can only imagine how strong he is without that limiting him.
But do you really think he could take on the Three Tails without his illness?
Without his illness, yeah, 100%.
You really think so?
Dude, didn't Hidan have a standoff with the three tails at one point?
Who?
Hidan?
No, that was Data. Data and Obito hunted down the Three Tails.
No, I'm not talking about in this arc, but I feel like I remember. I don't remember what Tail Beast it was exactly, but
Hidan and Kakazu went after the Two Tails, Yugito Ni.
well, I mean, my point is, I mean, if Hidan's able to handle a two tails, I mean, why can't Kimimaro, who is stronger than Hidan, handle a three tails?
You really think he was stronger than Hidan?
I think, bro, Hidan is so fodder.
He wasn't fodder at all.
His whole power is based off the fact that he can't die. He is so lacking in terms of every area. I mean, he's above average in every area, but he's lacking overall. I mean, I don't even really think he's like
his
high
Taijutsu was
Jonin
at least
level.
A rank.
I don't even think he's high Jonin level.
Mm-mm. He's in the bingo books as an S-class ninja.
I really don't think he is though. Like,
All the Akatsuki are, dude.
what do you say?
All the Akatsuki are in the bingo books as S-class ninja.
I know, but let's be honest. He Don is just not that.
So you're saying that Hidan is like S-class ninja only because of the affiliation of the Akatsuki, like for the same reason that Sanji's bounty is only higher than Zoro's because of the Vinsmoke affiliation?
Yeah, that's fine.
Oh, I forgot you're not that far in One Piece.
Yeah, so I'm just going along with it. Like, yeah, that's fine.
A pretty non-spoilery way to put this is Sanji's bounty went way up because of the affiliation that we later find out about in the series, and it's now higher than Zoro's by 10 million. And he's like, "Well, I'm better than you now."
Um,
But I agree. Sometimes the affiliation is all it takes. Like
so
during the Third War, a lot of Rain Ninja were considered high threats just because of the fact that the Rain Village was in the center of the war territory, and all those ninja were forced to become better, and they were basically guerrilla warfare fighters. So they were ranked high in the bingo books and shit.
yeah. Oh shit, I forget what. Oh, so pretty much. Also in this fight against Gaara, before he had died, Gaara had literally buried him 200 meters below the earth under his sand,
Oh my god, it was 200 meters.
and literally used his ability to fill the battlefield fully with bones, and it's shown that he can travel through these bones with how he comes out behind Gaara at the end and
Yeah.
almost gets him. I mean, I feel like that's pretty hacks when healthy, as you can see how strong it is when he's sick,
Yeah, I
on
agree
the verge of death.
I agree because there's no there's like no what's the word I'm looking for? I guess example is a good enough synonym. There's no example of Guren being able to travel through her crystals like that.
Hmm.
Like I feel like she would be able to if she honed her abilities, but she has not been shown to be capable.
Yeah, I feel like it's something that, like, if it had been introduced, like, back in the arc, like, I was like, oh, that makes sense. But since obviously, like you said, we haven't seen it, we can't really.
Now, one thing I feel like you're kind of capitalizing on, and I feel like is a little inaccurate, is that like you're assuming that just because he's healthy, he'd be a lot stronger, which he may be. But let's not forget that we have no proof that he'd be stronger. We know that his illness didn't make him weaker, but we don't
His
know that
his
he'd be
It's
stronger
kind of
without
hard
it.
to say it didn't make him weaker when you consider before he got up to go out and do the shit to, like, get Sasuke to Orochimaru, he was just bedridden, like, could not move or anything, and Orochimaru and Kabuto even said that he should not be moving at all.
Yeah, I don't think like
I
he
mean,
was
it's
stronger
it's hard
at
to
the
say he's
beginning
not
of the
weakened in
war,
that
though.
state, especially as the fight goes on and he uses his curse mark more, which enhances his power, it also enhances the illness more because his body's going through more. You can see a few different times he
Oh
coughs up
yeah, yeah.
blood.
If there's anything going wrong in your body, and
So
you
I,
person's gonna fuck it up.
because even though he was using his stronger forms, I think his body itself was getting weaker as he was going into those forms. So I don't even think we saw his strongest forms at their strongest.
Okay, I do agree with that, but I'm talking like I feel like that since we have no proof that without the illness he would be stronger, especially since Naruto bodied him in Edo Tensei. But like I said, Edo Tensei enhances ninjas. Um,
And
um,
Naruto was also fucking cracked at
oh
that point.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Naruto bodied like 4 different reanimations and almost the entire Zetsu army.
I mean, yeah, let's be honest. That Naruto fucking solos both of who we're talking about here with the hand tie behind his back.
Yeah,
Like,
because we just make hands with the chakra. um, but I feel like talking like so much on the hypothetical of him being stronger without the illness kind of defeats the purpose of us taking the illness away because there's no proof that he'd be strong. You know what I mean? Like I could say, oh well, if Guren didn't have Yukimaru to protect, she would have been crazy and been way stronger. Like you know what I mean?
I get that, and I mean, trust me, I think that's completely fair. But at the same time, when it might not be like direct statements saying straight up that he is weaker, but just having the statements from people like Orochimaru and Kabuto that at least imply it in a certain way, I feel like that has me somewhat at bay. I do agree with what you're saying though, but I feel like I have
Okay.
just enough evidence to make it somewhat fly. You know what I mean?
I kind of hear you, but at the same time, I feel like you're like stretching it just a little bit. You know what I mean?
I mean that's fair. I don't feel like I'm stretching it, but that's fair.
But what I was saying earlier though, she can literally turn any form of matter into crystal. She could crystallize and break his bones just by putting them in crystal. Because remember the crystal she put Hinata in? If she destroyed that crystal, Hinata's body would have gone with it. The only reason Hinata survived is because she was able to use her chakra control to cover her body with a thin film of chakra to prevent the crystal from being in contact with her body.
How do we know she can break the bones though?
Because remember it was stated like anything that if she had destroyed that crystal with Hinata in it, that was her whole threat. Hinata would have died. She would have been destroyed with the crystal. So that's to say anything in that crystal would be destroyed.
So my thing with that is Kimimaro, I mean, he's shown to have full control over the bone, so what stops him from just getting rid of the bone in general?
You got a point there. But what I'm saying is if he'd used Bracken Dance Model 1, I think it was called Model, like I think it was version 1 or whatever, where all the bones are shooting up out of the ground, all she has to do to counter that, and let's be real, her perception and her reflexes are there. She can counter that shit. Is to just start crystallizing them and then just destroy the crystals, and that entire field of bones is gone. He's got no mobility past what he can do on his feet because he's now meters away from her.
Which would bring it back to Taijutsu, which I feel like he'd be able to defend himself
Well,
well
she's also
against.
good with long range. Remember, she can create crystal shuriken, and yeah, he can deflect those all day long. But if she uses them as a distraction to create a crystal dragon jutsu, and she's been shown to be capable of using 5, if not, it was either 5 or 6 of those in a single fight without getting fatigued, while taking on 3 high Jonin level taijutsu users at the same time.
I don't think
I mean,
that Jutsu was, I mean, that powerful though. I think it was
okay,
strong,
dude,
but
she mixes earth and lightning style to create crystal style. Already, that's taking a lot of chakra. And then number 2, she's creating an entire dragon jutsu out of it. We've seen fire dragon jutsu, we've seen earth dragon jutsu, we've seen water dragon jutsu. They all require massive amounts of
yeah,
chakra.
but I don't feel like it's on the level of something like a Kirin type attack.
No, no, I wouldn't say it's on a Kirin level because Sasuke uses actual lightning to produce Kirin. The way Sasuke produces Kirin is by creating an atmosphere in which a thunderstorm rolls by and then using the actual lightning from it by pushing his chakra into the air and grabbing onto it. It's like what Killua does when he charges up his Godspeed. He literally grabs a couple wires and absorbs the electricity through his nen. Sasuke pushes his chakra up into the air, into the electrically charged clouds, and pulls that lightning down with it. That lightning is not actually part of Sasuke's chakra.
That's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying. I was just because in terms of like the way it looks when it's coming down, it looks like a dragon. I was talking more high level looking dragon jutsu, not some basic jutsu. Now I'm not saying it's basic jutsu, but you know what I mean. Like the standard level
jutsus. I mean, Kirin is probably an S rank, but Water, Earth, and Crystal Dragons.
Kirin's definitely an S rank.
They're all definitely A rank jutsus.
I mean, dude, when Sasuke used Kirin, even though Itachi was gonna throw anyway, Itachi's looking at that shit like, what the fuck?
Yeah, no, exactly. And he even stated if he hadn't used Susanoo, he would have died.
Yeah.
But that's also Sasuke right after, he barely right after he recovered from his fight with Deidara. And Deidara, during that same arc of Guren, was able to top the Three Tails.
Well, I think Deidara is a league ahead of both Guren and Kimimaro.
I think Guren was on par with Deidara because she's claimed and stated to be able to fight the Ten Tails for an extensive amount of time.
So the thing is, it's just
I said Ten Tails. I just said
I heard you. I know what you meant though. So
yeah, you know what? Debate's over. She can fight the Ten Tails for like hours, dude. She wins.
So my thing with that is, say Deidara's mission was just straight up fight Guren and kill her. I feel like he would do just that, whereas his mission there was to get the Three Tails.
I agree because their abilities are such a bad match for each other. Deidara is so long range and so tactical. He'd be able to take her out no problem.
Do you think she would be? I mean, this is again a different debate for a different day. But do you think she'd be able to turn Deidara's like clay birds and bombs and shit into crystals? Like, say he's riding one midair.
Yeah, I feel like she'd be able to trap them. But then I feel like he would still get the drop on her by detonating them when she drops her guard thinking that they're disabled.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Deidara is way too tactical.
Yeah, dude, Deidara...
He's a fighter, and he definitely, uses his mind
our next debate,
his body.
I think our next debate should be Deidara versus Sasori.
Gotta give it to Sasori.
Again, I mean, I feel like Deidara wins that, but that's another debate for another day.
Yeah,
let's not get too off topic.
Put together on the Akatsuki, I feel like that's a total, struggle in the dirt kind of fight.
I feel like in terms of like members of the Akatsuki, I feel like the two of them are like both the mid-tier of all mid-tier members of the Akatsuki. You know what I mean?
I don't know. I think they were low tier. I think they were the lowest tier, honestly.
Really?
Well, I mean, think about it. Fucking Sasori got bodied by an old lady in Sakura when Sakura didn't even have her chakra built up enough for the Byakugo yet.
I mean, yeah, but Chio was old, but she wasn't weak.
No, she wasn't weak.
And I think Sasori let Chio kill him too. So there's that.
I kind of agree with that. Like, I feel like at the end he let her kill him, but he was definitely not willing to throw that fight for the majority of it. He was totally trying to kill her and take out Sakura too.
That's fair.
So I really think he especially was like the lowest tier of the Akatsuki. Because think about it, in order of Akatsuki deaths, it went Sasori, Hidan, Kakuzu, Deidara, Itachi, Pain, Kisame, Nagato, Konan, and then Obito.
Wait. Kisame wasn't killed until after Pain, I thought, because he got
Yeah, I said
killed.
Pain and Kisame.
I thought you said Kisame like in the middle
Oh,
of
I
everything.
might have accidentally flipped it, but yeah, Kisame died after Pain,
Yeah.
and then after that it was Obito. Yeah, no, after that it was Konan, and then Obito.
All right. Um.
By no means was Konan stronger than Pain or Kisame. She just didn't die first,
Yeah.
I feel like if we're talking about low tier Akatsuki in terms of strength, I feel like if we separate them into three tiers, low, mid, high, I feel like low tier was Sasori, Hidan, and Konan as far as physical strength.
Hmm. All right. Well, that's a conversation for another day.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
I guess we should wrap up our final arguments at this point. So, essentially, I feel like all in all, our Guren does have very good feats and is very strong in her own right, and her ability definitely helps with that. I feel like Kimimaru's ability is just slightly more tactically useful in the 1v1 to one overbear and two just come out slightly with the win. Like I don't think Kimimaru stomps or even gets a mid diff, but at the end of it, I think he does come out on top with the win.
I feel like it's arguable because like I said before, with the Hyuga style Taijutsu and the large stance are very similar in that they're very fluid movements, and she was able to basically top Hyuga style Taijutsu and encase Hinata in an entire crystal when she was already a very fast and very fluid moving person. Faster and more fluid than Kimimaro, if not as fast and fluid as Kimimaro was at that time. So I feel like Guren could have caught him. Um, but her chakra reserves are definitely greater than his were, for sure. Because I mean, as much as he was able to do, he was not able to just absolutely create an entire barrier that would. I mean, let's face it. If he made a shield of bones, three Rasengans probably would have destroyed it at Naruto's level at that time when he fought Guren. And her crystal barriers took like dozens of Rasengans, and on top of that, it needed
Uh,
an entire like feast from Shino's insects and Kakashi's lightning blade at the same time to even crack it.
I'm not sure about that as we saw that his bones were strong enough to barely get slowed down by Gaara's sand.
Yeah, but Gaara's sand is not a solid mass unless he's using Sandcough. It's not condensed like that, especially during a move like Sand Tsunami. Like, yeah, I mean, absolutely
I
with
mean,
the
it has to be somewhat condensed because if it's not, then all the
well, yeah,
hits on it just
with
go
the
straight
sand
through it.
barrier, Kimimaro used his second version of the Bracken dance to get out of it. But Gaara's sand, when it's moving, it's not highly condensed. He's focusing on speed when he's chasing people down with it. So it's easy to cut through. Like we've seen it. We've seen Lee cut through it. We've seen Naruto cut through it. If you remember the third movie, the Inheritors of the Will of Fire, Naruto was able to literally just punch his way through Gaara's sand 4 times and then fake him out with a Rasengan. Gaara dropped his sand guard because he was like, "Why'd he stop?" And Naruto just fucking decked him.
I just want to confirm real quick. Is the movie canon? Because I know some of them aren't canon.
This so movies 1 through 5 or 1 through 4 in Shippuden, you can easily place in canon, but they are not confirmed canon.
All right.
Movie 3, Inheritors of the Will of Fire, would come around right after Asuma's death before Jiraiya's.
All right. Um. So I mean, do you have anything else you want to say? Or
I feel like Guren versus Kimimaro is a great topic for a more extensive debate, but because he's very offensive and she's very defensive, I feel like it's a fantastic matchup, and I feel like it would take a lot more
not even that, just
information from people behind the scenes of the show, like Kishimoto and the
yeah.
show and shit, to actually confirm whether or not who would win. But it's certainly a great source of debate, and I'm glad we did this.
So am I. So pretty much, you guys in the YouTube comments can let us know who you think won, myself or Fail Project Games. We'll leave it up to you guys. I think this was a very productive discussion, a very good
I
debate.
think we're
And
gonna wait.
what do you say?
I said I think this is a stalemate, no matter how we slice it.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly agree. I think we both like brought our A game, and at the end, I mean, yeah, but we'll see what they think. I appreciate y'all tuning in, sticking around. I'll be live later on tonight, probably on Fortnite, so I'll see y'all in a few hours. But yeah, thank you to Foul. Go check him out. Great dude, great friend of mine. Definitely deserves your support. And I'll see y'all later.
I appreciate that.